All right, get ready for a deep dive, everyone, because we are talking about an Indian wedding that is all about luxury and tradition.
Oh, yeah.
You guys sent in some incredible details about this one.
Hmm.
Sanjita and Pratik's big day, and
Yeah.
I gotta say, a rickshaw entrance at the Palace at Somerset Park.
Right.
Now, that's something I want to hear more about.
Oh, it's stunning. What's so captivating about this wedding is how it reflects the couple's vision, you know, timeless tradition, but with this luxurious elegance woven throughout.
It's the perfect way to describe it. Even the venue, the Palace at Somerset Park, just sounds elegant.
Right.
Like grand chandeliers and
Mm.
golden halls.
Yeah.
I'm picturing something pretty amazing.
Yeah.
But how does a venue like that really set the stage for that Indian wedding feel?
Mhm.
You know, that blend of modern luxury and tradition.
Well, I think the palace, it's like this majestic backdrop, but it doesn't overshadow all those rich cultural elements that are so important. Think of it like a canvas that's ready for the vibrant colors, those intricate details, the symbolic decor that is just so central to Indian weddings.
And of course, we can't forget about those incredible lehengas. Now, for anyone listening who might not be familiar, a lehenga is that stunning three-piece outfit you see brides wearing.
Gorgeous.
It's a long skirt, a blouse, and then this flowing scarf. They're often made with such luxurious fabrics and have the most intricate embroidery. And Sanjita's lehenga sounds absolutely breathtaking.
It really does. And it's interesting because the lehenga is so significant in Indian weddings.
I guess so.
And not just because of how beautiful it is. Often these garments are more than just dresses. Think family heirlooms passed down for generations. Or they might be designed with specific motifs and symbols that have deep cultural or familial meaning.
Now that you mention it, I'm curious.
Hmm.
Were there any details about Sanjita's lehenga that stood out? Something that reflects her family history or incorporates those meaningful symbols?
You know, I wish I had those details. Unfortunately, the source material doesn't get into specifics about her lehenga, but it's definitely something to think about. Can you imagine adding those personal narratives to the already stunning traditional attire?
It just adds another layer to the whole celebration.
Absolutely.
Each element would tell a story. And speaking of stories, let's talk about the bride's entrance. The source material described it as breathtaking.
Oh, yeah.
And knowing the artistry and the skill that goes into bridal makeup,
Oh, incredible.
I bet it was.
Oh, makeup is an art form in itself, especially for the bride. And it's not just about looking beautiful, it's about creating a look that complements the lehenga, right?
Right.
And reflects just how important this day is. And Komal Gill, she was the makeup artist for this wedding, so I'm sure she made sure Sanjita looked and felt amazing.
I'm sure she did. It's amazing how each detail just adds to that sense of elegance and tradition.
Yeah.
And speaking of grand entrances, we have to talk about Pratik's arrival.
Oh.
Tell me more about this barat and how a rickshaw might have shaken things up a bit.
Okay, so the barat, that's the groom's procession.
Yeah.
And traditionally, it is a party.
Okay.
It's energetic, it's vibrant. Imagine a huge parade with family and friends dancing, celebrating, and they go with the groom to the ceremony. And in this case, they did it with a rickshaw. Definitely unexpected.
That's awesome. So they put their own spin on things. But
Yeah.
rickshaws aren't exactly known for being spacious.
Mhm.
How many people actually fit in there with them?
Well, you know what? The source material didn't say exactly how many people,
Okay.
but they did mention that Platinum Roadshow Entertainment provided the music
Okay.
and that it was infectious. So regardless of how many people were in that rickshaw, it had to have been a good time.
I bet it was lively.
Yeah.
Oh, I bet. The music always gets everyone going. But let's talk about the atmosphere of this wedding. The details about the decor, especially the flowers, really stood out to me.
Yeah.
They used the words floral splendor. And I have to know more because flowers at Indian weddings, they're not just decorations, right?
Oh, absolutely not. And this is where it gets really cool. So Events by Srishti, they were the wedding planners, and they teamed up with Tradition and Trends, the florist, and together they created what sounds like a total floral wonderland.
Okay, stop. I'm already there. But tell me, what kind of flowers are we talking about here?
Right. Like, are we talking roses, lilies? What are we working with?
Yeah. Are there certain flowers that are especially significant in Indian wedding traditions?
Oh, you are speaking my language. You're right. It's not just about pretty flowers. Each bloom has a meaning behind it. Like marigolds, you'll see those everywhere.
Oh, yeah. They're so vibrant.
Right. Well, they represent the sun, positive energy, new beginnings, all that good stuff. And roses, lots and lots of roses. They're for love and purity. Oh, and jasmine. You can't forget jasmine with that amazing smell. It's all about beauty and sensuality.
Wow, so they really thought of everything. It's not just making it look pretty, it's about incorporating those traditions and meanings.
Exactly. And beyond that, imagine the feeling of being surrounded by all those flowers. The colors, the scents in the air, it all adds to the mood.
It's an experience.
Totally. Speaking of capturing that experience, did you see who did the photography and videography?
Oh yeah, Gersher Gill Photography and Shikari Films were behind the lens for this one. And get this, both photos and video. With a wedding this gorgeous, you need both.
Absolutely. And photography, videography, it's huge EE in Indian weddings.
Rightly so.
These celebrations are so full of life, so much color, emotion, everything from the henna designs to the barat, you want to remember it all. And having both photo and video lets the couple relive it all over again.
It's like holding on to those memories forever. Okay, now let's talk about the food, because Mogul Catering was in charge of the menu. And knowing how important food is in Indian culture and hospitality, I bet it was incredible.
Okay, you know how much I love talking about food, and let me tell you, food at an Indian wedding, it's an integral part of the whole thing.
It's an experience in itself.
Right. It's about welcoming the guests, showing generosity. Everyone comes together to share in the joy, and Mogul Catering is known for their delicious food, like putting a modern twist on classic dishes, but keeping all those amazing flavors and beautiful presentation.
Now I'm hungry. Okay, we have to talk about the henna. I am obsessed with those intricate designs. Mendi by Anuja did the bride's henna, and Tijil henna was there for the family. Can you tell us more about the tradition and what it means at Indian weddings?
Oh, for sure. So the Mendi ceremony, that's when they apply the henna. It's not just a pre-wedding thing, it's a whole celebration.
It's an event.
Right. And it's usually just for the women, where they get those elaborate henna designs on their hands and feet.
And these aren't just random patterns, right? There's meaning behind them.
Oh, absolutely. They're intricate, absolutely beautiful, and they can take hours to apply, and each one is full of symbolism and meaning. Like the paisley motif, it represents fertility and luck. And the lotus flower, that's for purity and new beginnings.
It's like temporary body art, but with tradition woven in. So cool.
And you know what else is cool? The darker the henna stain, the stronger the bond between the couple. Or so they say.
I love that. It's like tradition meets artistry and symbolism all in one.
Right.
And speaking of beautiful traditions, the source material mentioned Dulce de Vita strings provided live music for the cocktail hour.
Oh, how nice.
I'm picturing a string quartet setting the mood as guests arrive.
Yeah.
So elegant.
Live music just elevates everything. And for an Indian wedding, it's a perfect blend of classic and modern.
I love that. Honoring tradition, but still adding your own style. And those invitations, they really set the tone for the whole wedding. With Indian wedding card design in them, they must have been beautiful.
Oh, for sure. In Indian culture, invitations are more than just a piece of paper, right? They're like a glimpse into the celebration, often featuring traditional motifs like paisley or elephants.
For luck and prosperity, it's all connected.
Exactly.
Okay, so let's talk about this ceremony itself. Padmakar Guruji was the priest for Sanjita and Pratik's wedding, and I'm curious to know more about the role of the priest in these ceremonies.
Oh, the priest is essential. They guide everyone, the couple and their families, through all of the sacred rituals, the chanting, the blessings, everything.
Wow.
These ceremonies are deeply spiritual, and the priest helps connect the couple's union to something much bigger.
It sounds like every little detail, from the venue to the invitations to the priest, was chosen with so much thought and meaning, really reflecting Sanjita and Pratik's vision of blending tradition with modern elegance.
It really does. And while we're looking at this breathtaking wedding, it's a good reminder that you don't need a palace and a rickshaw to make your wedding meaningful.
So true.
It's all about the intention behind it.
Right. It's understanding what matters to you as a couple and finding those creative ways to express it through the choices you make for your wedding, whether it's family heirlooms, symbolic flowers, or, like we saw, putting a unique twist on something like the barat.
Absolutely. It's your love story, your heritage, your chance to celebrate in a way that represents you.
Now, before we wrap up this amazing deep dive into Sanjita and Pratik's gorgeous wedding, we have one last question for you listening. If you could splurge on one thing from this wedding, just one, what would it be? The incredible lehenga, those amazing flowers, maybe even that memorable rickshaw entrance. What would make your big day unforgettable? Think about it. And until next time, happy celebrating.